Hello everybody, before we start this video I'd like to give a shout out to three people this time. Dory will be all this week we're doing Pokeferlax, Kenneyon Music, and Oreki AMVs. We're only at Short Super 5 as well as everyone from the Mass Legion and everyone on the Short Patrol made by Family Manny Posse. We wish you good luck in your oncoming future. Now without further ado, let's begin your featured presentation. Hope you all enjoy the video and have a good day.
Hello everybody, my name is Seanster5 and welcome everybody back to another episode of Seanster Plays Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel. Last time, I'm in the wrong area to do that, so sorry about that. Last time, we went over to the prehistoric era to find out that a new section of pendulum summoning was occurring in that area as we discovered the secrets of the steam dinosaurs of Uncharted Lands, and then we witnessed a mechanical might deep from underground with the colossal mechanical conches of the Cleat Forts, which of course were featured in last week's Pendulum Parade. But today we're going to be starting part 1 out of 2 with the Legend of the Star Heroes. Now, for those aware about this particular gate in general, then yep, it's time. But for those who are not familiar with this gate, well, for some reason, Konami have made the executive decision to making the World Chalice, the Legend of the Star Heroes gate, the longest one of all the gates in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and I did have a little bit of research over beforehand to seeing how it worked, and if I did all the scenarios, to be fair, without any duels, then it just wouldn't be right, to be fair, because, well, although it would be nice to get one gate done out of the way, it would be also nice that along with the story that we at least get at least 1 or 2 duels in there per episode, and that's what I'm going to do today. So for this week we're going to be doing the Chosen by the World Legacy and Gifted the Martyr. Now, I will be doing the duel in Chosen of the World by the World Legacy, but simply because, well, I mean, I don't know, I've looked in between the two, and this one, I believe, has the most out of the summoning method, which is coming after Pendulum, which of course is Link, so it ties in well, since we had Pendulum last week, AZs the week before, then we had Synchros the week before that, along with Fusions the week before that, so it was only right. And Rituals before that too, almost forgot about Rituals too, so this goes kind of hand in hand. So, and again, this will be a 2-parter, but hopefully after this and next week, where we'll be covering every single bit of World Legacy and World Chalice content in this game, we will be moving on to our regular schedule with 2 to 3 gates per week. But before we get right into the next lesson from the Shunta 2.5 Kazuki Takahashi Memorial School of Dueling, there's a couple little updates that I like to share with everybody. So, first of all, there's going to be another Ozma's Wisdom episode coming out, hopefully on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. We'll just have to keep our fingers crossed on that. And which of course it will be featuring now. I will give everybody a little bit of a heads up beforehand that Ozma's Wisdom will have at least, let's see, we're in May now, it's going to be June next month, and then July after that. So, Ozma's Wisdom is going to have 3 more episodes, with July's being the last one. Now, although it may be the last bit of Short Summations content on YouTube for now, don't worry, the Short Summations Mirai updates will be back, hopefully by the end of the Shortster cut of Naruto or the beginning of 2024, but I'll definitely keep you posted on that, even if it's just a few little glimpses and whatnot, but we'll definitely keep you posted. And second, well, and it mainly revolves around the Genshin One Off specials. As of last week, it has been confirmed in the version 3.7 update that we're getting another story to join Baizhu and Nahida, and it is going to be one for Yoimiya, who, of course, it has been in the game since the version 2 points of Genshin Impact, and is going to get a second story, which is going to have her travelling around Sumeru. Now, I would asked the question of who would be first between Nahida or Baizhu, but now that we got Yoimiya on the scene, well, the choice is yours, to be fair. But either way, while one will be chosen for the one-off specials, the other one will, of course, be saved for a Twitter story. But then that gets me thinking, because in version 3.7, Kaveh's going to get a hangout event, so I'll probably have to like flip a coin on this, depending on which one we want to go. But I think for the one-off specials coming up, I think I'm going to be doing the Nahida story mode for the upcoming Genshin one-offs, which are coming after Master Duel, and then after the next series, or when the next Genshin What Ifs come out, and after the Genshin not What Ifs, one-offs. Sorry, I need to think about this. So after the one-offs, that will include Layla and Nahida's story mode. The next Genshin one-offs, the next trio of Genshin one-offs, will feature Kaveh's hangout and either Baizhu or Yoimiya's story mode. Either way, no matter which you choose between Yoimiya or Baizhu, one of them will be featured on the channel, the other one will gain an entry in the Genshin diary on Twitter. But we'll see how it progresses onward. But no matter where our journey takes us, all these journeys are worthwhile if you're everyone's company, and I would not be here without all of you. And well, I hope that today will be a perfect example of those grand times. And so, now that all the updates are out of the way, without any further ado, let's get right into the extravaganza of the World Legacy story. So, if you enjoyed this video and the many lore and tales that are yet to arrive from this link-based deck archetype, then be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content coming soon. And from our own Short Super 5, as well as everyone for the Mass Legion and everyone in the Short Super Patrol made by Family Manny Posse, we all hope that you enjoyed today's video, and let us move right onward to part 1 out of 2 of the Legend of the Star Heroes, featuring the World Chalice monsters all the way to the Mech Knights. But then part 2, we've got ourselves Crusadia and World Legacy. But we might as well start right at the beginning. Always got to start with those sweet prologues. Here we go. Alonzi, everybody. The rulers of this star were not human. That world was ruled by 7 mechanical life forms known as the Mech Knights. And across the land spread their vanguard, the Crawlers. These Crawlers tend to swarm and destroy all human-made structures in their path. They most likely lack any emotions. Helpless before those ruthless machines, mankind had no choice but to live in hiding. Dense with thick trees, gloomy even in the daylight, a hinterland known as Forest of the Stars. Therein lays a hidden village where humans live inconspicuously. The village was protected by a barrier that would prevent intruders from invading or even discovering it. The ritual one passed down through the many generations made the barrier extremely resistant, and it had never broken, not once. But even so, the villagers were suffocated by their anxieties day after day, not knowing what the great threat would come knocking at their doorstep. From within the suffocating unease of the village, there were still those determined to fend off the Crawlers. Arum and Ningirisi. There was a reason they fought so desperately. It was the village priestess and the youngest sister of Ningirisi, Eve. From birth, the priestess possessed a divine power that synergizes their ritual one to create barriers. Eve's power was the strongest the village had ever seen in its history. But it was meager compared to the frightening forces that grew stronger by the day. Her companions saw how hard she was trying to put on a brave face for the villagers and wished they could lighten their burden, even by a little. Arum and Ningirisu, along with the baby dragon Imduk, crossed the barrier in hopes of slaying even just one Crawler. One day, Eve heard from inside the forest a faint sound like that of a human. Arum and Ningirisu could not bear it. However, Eve proclaimed that she keeps hearing the voice. Afraid Eve would venture into the forest alone, Arum and Ningirisu and the dragon Imduk set foot inside the hinterland. I wonder what they find there. Well, one way to find out. Let's proceed on with the story. The sun had already set, leaving only starlight to guide them. The scent of trees and soil hung in the cold air. Though her footing was unsure, Eve ventured into the forest as she was being guided. Careful not to lose sight of her, the three looked for crawlers as they followed her. Suddenly, with an abrupt shriek, Eve vanished before their eyes. Rushing to the place where they lost sight of her, they saw Eve and had fallen off a low cliff. It appeared Eve had been so spellbound in the direction of the voice that she hadn't noticed there was no ground before her. The three descended on the cliff and were relieved to find Eve uninjured. Before their eyes, a mysterious structure appeared. If it had been there before, they would have noticed it, but as if the structure had been there for hundreds of years, it was contained in my English today, in trees entwined in ivy. They nervously approached the building. The one Eve held in her hand glowed, and the building started to rubble as if in response. A mighty light radiated from the building, blowing outside the trees and cloaking everything in blinding light. Even with their eyelids closed, the light pierced mercilessly through. When they finally opened their eyes, a fairy fluttered in the air before them. The fairy spoke to the startled party. I am Lee, the World Chalice Fairy, a spirit that had been sealed inside the building and released in the bright light known as the World Legacy World Chalice. In previous times, it was her duty to guide mankind, but was obstructed by the Mech Knight. For many years, she had been waiting for a world hero capable of activating the World Chalice, and that they are those world heroes. Please lend me your strength and gather the scattered starlight and save the world from the greatest darkness, she spoke. Though bewildered by Lee's story, Arum and the group were moved by her earnest and decided to lend a hand. Hearing their resolve, the fairy Lee smiled and bestowed upon them powers of the awakened World Chalice. It's been quite the power boost, I have to say. Well, I wonder how powerful they are once we get to the duel part of this particular section. One way to find out. To protect mankind. Accepting Lee's earnest wishes, Arum and the group promised to help her. Accompanied by Lee, the group set off to return to the village, but they encountered several crawlers who blocked their way. Arum, Ningirisu and Imduk stood before the crawlers with their new strength coursing throughout their bodies. As they stood between the monsters and what they set out to protect, tension hung heavy in the air. A cold sweat dripped from Arum's chin and dampened the forest soil. As the great tension caressing the party suddenly seized up upon their foes, lunging towards the exoskeletons of the crawlers. Arum's sword cleaved the enemies with ease. Ningirisu's lance pierced nimbly, and Imduk's claws teared ferociously at the metal hides. The battle was almost over as quickly as it had started. The power of the World Chalice that Lee granted them was much greater than expected. They couldn't conceal their surprise as the World Chalice's great power now dwelled in their bodies. According to Lee, there were 6 more world legacies in the world with equal power to the World Chalice. If they were to be recovered, it would be possible not only to destroy the crawlers, but to destroy the Mech Knights who rule the world. This information provided a great ray of hope for the village people who lived so long in the gloomy forest. English today. Following these words and the guidance of the World Chalice, the young folks of the Forest of the Stars set out on a journey to seek the next World Chalice. World Legacy. Don't know English today. I swear. I promised I would fix that. Well, next scenario. We're almost at the duel now. And so began the journey of Arum and the party in search of the World Legacy. Although the party was on a mission to save the world, at first their mission in the outside world, everything they saw and heard felt harsh and vivid. No matter how many crawls would appear, Arum and his friends would fight them off, and they did so for several days. How long must they have walked with Lee as their guide, and the world chalice as their beacon? A humid wind caressed their cheeks. Before the party laid a vast swamp, the great artifact was submerged in the muddy expanse. A giant armor laying in the bog was one of the express purposes of this trip, the world legacy known as the World Armor. However, they found more than just the world armor there. Not only on the surface of the armor, but also on the inside, dark figures squirmed. Like ants on the corpse of a dead insect, crawlers swarmed on the world armor. Their number was countless. From a red molecular and emanated a bizarre light that filled the party's field of vision. The horrific sound of the crawlers' metal hides scraping against each other united in a thunderous canopy, as if the earth was shaking. Standing before the three were superior specimens possessing power far greater than the crawlers they had crossed paths previously. Witnessing an overwhelming sight, the party decided it was reckless to try and break through them from the front. On Lee's suggestion, the three friends dared not engage and instead headed for the world armor. Well, looks like we got a battle with bugs on our hands. Here we go, everybody. Time to see how powerful the world chalice is bestowed upon these three. Or should I say four, including Imdot. Here we go. Okay. Let the duel begin. At least we could get one duel in, to be fair, with these next 2 weeks. Oh! It seems like my opponent has started strong as he's pretty much used his entire field. Call the Haunted, reinforcement in the army, and lead the World Chalice Fairy. Right. Well, since he's used his hand, but those face downs could be trouble, so let's start the game right by activating the spell card Reinforcement of the Army. And with this, I can bring Beckoned by the World Chalice to my hand. Next, I will set 2 cards face down, and then I'll summon the monster Lee, the World Chalice Fairy. And thanks to Lee's effect, I can add 1 World Chalice monster from my deck to my hand, and I choose Crowned by the World Chalice. And since I can't do anything else after that, I'll end my turn. And you're... Oh no, he's already got rid of Lee. And already with a Link summon, okay. And it's a link to X-Crawler Quildalag. I didn't get a chance to read that. But what he didn't anticipate is that I have my face down card, Draining Shield. It negates that monster's attack and I gain life points equal to that X-Crawler's attack points. I may have 10,000 life points, or 10,300 life points, but I shouldn't get cocky. I activate my trap card, Call the Haunted, and with this I can use it to bring back Lee, the World Chalice Fairy, from my graveyard. And thanks to Lee's effect, I can add another World Legacy World Chalice monster to my hand, and I choose Chosen by the World Chalice. All 3 friends are together again, and Solomon's Strike. Not a bad move. I'll set this card face down, and then I will summon Crowned by the World Chalice. Now this may have 0 attack points, but I can use it to manifest my circuit. And I'll send my Crowned by the World Chalice into Link Arrows. Link the circuit. I Link summon. Link 2, Imduk the World Chalice. Link 1, the World Chalice Dragon. Sorry. Sorry, I did not read that. Sorry, everybody. Okay. And then I will then use my Imduk the World Chalice Dragon's effect, meaning I can normal summon 1 normal or any World Chalice monster from my hand, in addition to what I would have normal summoned this turn. So I normal summon Chosen by the World Chalice, and then I will then set my Chosen and my Lee in the Link Arrows. Or I can only do Imduk, but that's fine. And now Link the circuit once again as I Link summon Link 2, Eve the World Challenge Priestess. And then thanks to Imduk's effect, when it's sent to the graveyard, I can special summon one World Challenge monster to my hand. And I'll summon another Lee, the World Chalice Fairy. And thanks to that Lee's effect, I can add World Chalice Guard Dragon to my hand. Like so. And then I activate, let's see. Now I'll just leave it as is. But what I will do next is that I will now send my Eve and my Chosen to the Link Arrows once again to link another circuit as I summon Link 2, Arum, the World Chalice Blade Master. And then, thanks to Lee's special ability, I can now special summon another World Chalice monster to the field, and I choose World Chalice Guard Dragon. And then activate Arum's special ability by tributing one World Chalice monster. I get to summon Eve right back from my graveyard next to its Link. But that's not all. Next I activate the spell card Monster Reborn. And with it I can bring back my Imduk. Return Imduk. And next I will set I will now set Arum as 2 materials and Imduk in my Link Arrows. Link the circuit once again. I Link summon Link 3 Ningirisu, the World Chalice Warrior. And thanks. Ooh, and now I activate my. Okay. Do I have any mon? Oh, I do have something in my hand. Alright, well, I'll activate Arum's effect. And I won't activate Imduk's effect because, well, I mean, Beckon's the only card in my hand, so it can beckon of the World Chalice. But thanks to Ningirisu, the World Chalice Warrior's effect, I could draw cards up to the number of World Chalice monsters that this card points to, with Eve and my Lee being faced to each other. I can get to draw 2 cards. And next, I will activate Ningirisu, the World Chalice Warrior's effect. I can then send one card of each of our field to the graveyards, and I choose to send that face down card and my Lee, the World Chalice Fairy, to the graveyard. And since that's all I could do for now, I'll then attack with my Ningiri. No. Oh no. But I activate my Ningiri, who's affected by graveyard. And I get to summon the World Legacy World Chalice to the field. Since there's nothing else I could do, I'll end my turn there. But then I activate World Chalice Guard Dragon's affected by graveyard, and by banishing it, I get to summon Chosen by the World Chalice from my graveyard. And next, I will then, let's see, I will then set my World Legacy World Chalice and my Arum in the Link Arrows. Linking the circuit to link summon Arum, the World Chalice Blade Master, there we go. And then I will once again set my... Wait, hang on, I could do better than that, surely. Nah, it's gonna have to be the case. I set Eve and my Arum in the Link Arrows to link summon another Ningirisu. Just so I've got some extra attack power needed, but I will activate Arum's effect and summon World Chalice Guard Dragon to my field in defense position. And then I activate my Ningirisu's effect. I could send his X-Crawler to the graveyard along with my World Chalice Guard Dragon. Okay, but he can summon his Crawlers back. That's the one downside to this. Although I didn't succeed in doing any damage, at least I've still got a good feel about it. Ooh, let's see. And I've got Solomon's Strike just in case. Oh, bad. I'll activate Solomon's Strike, and I can pay 1,500 points to negate that monster's ability and destroy my Ningirisu. Okay, he's bringing out 2 crawlers. Thank goodness none of them can destroy my monsters, so... Oh, he's ending his turn just like that, okay. What does he have in his extra deck? Well, find out next turn. Got Call the Haunted, yes! Well, I can now send my Beacon of the World Chalice and my Ningirisu to the Link Arrows to Link Summon another Arum, the World Chalice Blade Master. And then I will activate my God Dragon's effect in my graveyard by banishing it. I get to bring back Crown by the World Chalice another time, and then I activate Arum's special ability, tributing my Crown and bringing back my Ningirisu right next to its link. And then I activate, let's see, banish this card from your graveyard. I activate my World Legacy World Chalice effect in my graveyard, and by banishing it, I get to add a World Legacy card from my deck to my hand, and I choose my World Legacy Discovery. And with this card, all World Chalice monsters I control gain 300 attack points, and if it were to be, if a face-up World Chalice monster you destroy is the control was destroyed by battle or leaves the field, you can type 1 World Chalice in the graveyard, special summon it in defense position. And then let's see, send 1 monster from a hand or field to the graveyard. That isn't very safe, so I'll just move in and attack with my Ningirisu, and it connects. And then I'll attack with my Arum. Okay, and he adds more cards to his hand. And I'll go to main phase 2, place this card face down, activate my Ningirisu special ability. I now send that face down card back along with my Arum to the graveyard. And I'll end my turn there. He's got a good field of crawlers at the moment, but nothing we can't handle. Okay, and now he's very relentless in summoning these insects, I will admit. Okay, oh wow, okay. Yeah, he's definitely bringing the big guns. Okay, now he's summoning back another X-Crawler. There we go. Okay. Okay, he's sending a card to his graveyard. What is he planning on? What is he planning on doing with that? He can send that opponent's monster to the graveyard. Oh well, I can't have that. I can't have that at all. But I will activate my World Legacy Discovery's effect. Once per turn, if a World Chalice monster would be destroyed or leaves the field, I get to summon back a monster from my graveyard, and I choose Lee the World Chalice Fairy. And when it's special summoned, another Beacon by the World Chalice comes to my hand. I'm not going to risk it. Nor risk that due to its field spell's effect. But now, since it's its end phase, I'll use Call the Haunted to bring back my Ningirisu from my graveyard. I draw. And this could be good. I activate the spell card World Legacy's Heart. I can now summon 2 World Chalice monsters from my graveyard with different names and add them to my hand. Okay. And I will choose my Crown by the World Chalice and my Arum of the World Chalice Blade Master. And then I will summon Beacon by the World Chalice, and then I will set him in the Link Arrows to link the circuit and summon Link 1 Imduct the World Chalice Dragon. And then thanks to its effect, I get to summon Crown by the World Chalice, and then I activate my Ningirisu special ability. I can then send his Crawler Dreadrite into his graveyard, but I have to get rid of one card, and I choose the Call the Haunted that is unused. Okay, he may gain back his Crawlers, but at least I've got one thing out of mine. And then I will activate Lead the World Challenge effect in my graveyard to send Crowned to my graveyard. Bring Lee back to my hand, and then I will attack with my Ningirisu. It's completely crammed with monsters. Alright, I attack with my Imduk. Okay, that did not work at all, okay. Looks like we're going back to getting back to square one all over again. But nothing that we can't handle. I mean, and mind you, win or lose, it's still a good duel all the same, because I think this one has gone on for quite a while now, we'll say. I mean, Crawl Outbreak's definitely deep in thought. He ends his turn! He ends his turn! He drew a card! And he just ended his turn! Again! Alright, I activate Lee's effect and bring World Chalice Guard Dragon to my hand, and next I will summon my World Chalice Guard Dragon, and then I will set both my Guard Dragon and my Imduk in the Link Arrows to Link summon Arum, the World Chalice Playmaster, once again. Then activate Arum's effect to summon Chosen by the World Chalice. Let's see. And then I will activate my World Chalice Guard Dragon's effect, banishing it, and summoning Chosen by the World Chalice back from my graveyard. Then I activate Arum's special ability. You send Chosen to the grave to bring back my second Ningirisu from my graveyard back to the field. And then I activate my Ningirisu's effect. I send my Lee to the graveyard, and I'll send his field spell to the graveyard. There we go. That way. Oh, and I can do it again with my second Ningirisu. So I send Chosen by the World Chalice and this card to the graveyard. Okay, and now it's the time for the full-on assault. So go, Arum! And now my two Ningirisu will attack. And there we go. Should have enough attack points for that. Target one monster. Okay, he destroys my second, but I get to summon a World Legacy monster from my graveyard. So welcome back, Crowned, into a position right next to Arum's Link, which is all good. Okay, Upstart Goblin. I gain 100 life points, but then he gains one card, and he's got a face down. So, oh, and I got Terraforming. Well, may not be needed. It may, but we'll see. I activate Lee's effect. I send Crown to the graveyard to bring Lee to my hand, and then I'll summon Lee, activate her effect, and then bring Beckon by the World Chalice to my hand, and then I'll activate Arum's effect, sending Lee to the graveyard and bringing in Imduk. And then thanks to Imduk's effect, I can then summon my Beckon. Then quickly I'll activate Ningirisu's effect. Ooh, okay. Does the effect still go through? No. Oh, it does! It does! It does go through! Okay. Oh, no, that's fine. Okay, and I'll activate and bring Crown back from the graveyard in defense position. And wasting no time, I'm going to attack directly with Arum. And that's a GG with Beckoned. Real mind games with this one, but at least we managed to get a duel in. GG. With the world armor in front of them, Arum's party became blocked by a swarm of crawlers. No matter how many monsters they defeated, a new swarm appeared, trampling the debris of the fallen. Now divided, the party struggled. The seemingly endless battles had whittled the party's strength down to almost nothing. They were unable to advance, but retreating wasn't an option either. They had no choice but to fight until all the strength was gone. Just then, as Arum and the party were about to collapse, Lee called out to them. By defeating the superior X-Crawler, you should be able to halt the movements of the other crawlers. In the midst of the battle, Lee had discovered the X-Crawler was the commander of the crawlers. Trusting Lee's insight, the party pierced through the siege and closed in on the X-Crawler. The X-Crawler resisted fiercely, but they channeled the last of their strength to defeat it. Just as the commander collapsed, the swarm of crawlers surrounding the party suddenly stopped moving. Greatly wounded, Arum and the party finally arrived under the world armor. But there were more than just crawlers there. 7 colours of light suddenly shone down from the heavens. There appeared the 7 knights. The figures before them were metallic and emitted a radiant glow that enveloped their bodies with an illustrious light. The Met Knights, who ruled over mankind and all the world, had now descended into this very place. Arum and his friends found it difficult to describe the figures with the mortal words, and could not stand only to freeze in their overworldly presence. Then suddenly, the Met Knights reached their hands out silently. A mysterious light sprung forth from their hands and began to shroud Eve. Eve was so exhausted, no, completely spent. The magical barrier provided by Eve had no resistance to the force field. The rest of the party desperately struggled to rescue Eve. However, the same light from which they appeared Eve, and the 7 knights vanished without a trace. Lee cautioned of the danger, and if Eve's one was stolen and the other world legacies fell into the wrong hands, Arum and his comrades set out to rescue Eve and recover the next world legacy. Well, although there may not be another duel after this, there's still a lot of story left to go, but before we carry on with the story, before we end off this episode with the Gift of the Martyr, I'd like to thank everybody so much for watching this episode so far, and if you enjoyed this video and the series to come, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content coming soon, and for everyone else, Seanster 5 as well as a Royal Message, and everyone short to patrol made by Family Manny Posse. Let us move right on to the Gift of the Martyr and see where the rescue mission lies as we continue the story of the World Chalice story. Eve was held captive. The stolen Ritual One was sealed inside the core of the Met Knight Blue Sky, its power source. She'd been captured forcefully, but up to this point the Met Knights hadn't laid a hand on her. Eve was deep in thought. The Great Darkness is using the crawlers to threaten humankind. What if humankind's perception of the Met Knights had been wrong all this time? Meanwhile, Arum and the party arrived at the base of the Met Knights after their long quest to rescue Eve. Ruins of a forgotten civilization lay before them. The husks of decaying buildings, long buried by crucial movements, barely broke the ancient Earth's surface. Among them, artificial forms laid untouched in pristine condition. There, the active World Legacy War Shield shone brightly, and the World Legacy knows the World Lance rose sharply above the Earth. Even with the power of the World Chalice, it was a fool's errand to challenge the Met Knights. Following these words, Arum and the group decided on a sneak attack on the World Shield. Before the party, a knight appeared, then another. Previously they wouldn't have stood a chance, but now it was different. They had to rescue Eve. Their determination made them fight with blood-curdling ferocity. Sensing danger, the Met Knights transformed into a united form, the Met Knight Spectrum Supreme. I had no idea they could combine into one. Loads of surprises with this Link archetype, I will say. Arum and friends battled the Mech Knight Spectrum Supreme, the accumulation of the Mech Knight's power with all their might. As the tide turned in battle, Ningirsu gathered his strength and put his all into one decisive strike of his spear. However, his attack was paired with the Mech Knight Spectrum Supreme opening a large hole in the wall. The already fragile ruins couldn't withstand the impact and began to collapse. Before the dust settled, so as not to be noticed by the Mech Knight Spectrum Supreme, Ningirsu directed a subtle glance toward Lee. Noticing his glance, Lee nodded slightly and slipped from the battlefield. She signaled her intentions to infiltrate the base alone and rescue Eve. Lee flew feverishly before finally arriving at Eve. Eve breathed a sigh of relief when she saw Lee there unharmed. Her relief was short-lived as she learned that the others were battling the Mech Knights. Maybe it was they who were wrong to battle the Mech Knights. To know the truth, she had to stop the battle immediately. As Eve uttered those words, Lee, who stood in front of her, now suddenly turned around. Upon their first meeting, Lee had greeted Eve with a warm smile of a fairy. But her smile transformed, now blackened and hideous. Terrified, Eve sought to scream, but her consciousness was consumed by deep darkness before she could utter a noise. Well, that suddenly turned a dark turn, didn't it? My word, that Lee, I swear. Arum and the others continued to battle. All of a sudden, an explosion occurred inside the facility. Immediately, Arum felt as if the world chalice awakened again. Through the feeling was now greatly intensified. Everyone on the battlefield stopped fighting, transfixed at the moment. Just then, a figure appeared. She was standing on the mountain of the debris before them. It was a visage of Eve, unmistakably from head to toe. But her face betrayed something sinister. Her eyes glowed mysteriously, and an evil aura emanated from her body. These signs suggested that the figure before them was not the Eve they knew. Her laughter was nothing like that of Eve. She now spoke to the confused group. I'm Lee. This body is mine now. Sweet Eve was no longer there. The feminine resonance of her voice was now poisoned with a booming dissonance. Arum and the others glared at her with confusion and anger. Meeting their gaze, Nightmare Corruptor Ibli emanated a force field. The force field was now forcibly absorbed the power of the World Chalice with Arum and the others, and now it threatened to take their lives. However, it would be the Mech Knight Spectrum Supreme who they'd be fighting to the death just moments before. Who would rescue them then? Throwing itself at them, the power of Ibli was so great it caused the form of the Mech Knight Spectrum Supreme to become unjoined. Separating to sever, the Mech Knights were severely damaged. Then Ibli, with a familiar hand, proceeded to extract the cores from each of the Mech Knights, one by one. It was now clear there was a greater danger in Ibli possessing both the power of Ib as well as that of the ritual wand. Seeking to prevent this, the Mech Knight Blue Sky sought to transfer control of the wand to someone other than Ib. Showing considerable growth in battle, Arum was the one chosen as the wand's successor. Ibli's power created a shockwave that launched Arum to the edge of a cliff. The Mech Knight Blue Sky stretched out his hand to help him. Wordlessly, their gaze meet. Arum sensed in his heart that the knight was trying to convey something when a dazzling light shone suddenly. Next moment, Arum, adorned in a new armor, not of the World Chalice, and holding a sword in each hand, stood at the edge of the cliff as Mech Knight Avram, successor to the ritual sword. Once owned by Eve, the ritual wand was passed down through the generations in the villages of the Forest of the Stars. It was the key of the fate of the stars, and held the power to unlock the world legacies. In a split-second decision, Arum had been chosen to succeed the wand, not by the one's control of Eve, but by the Mech Knights. Then, the succession of the key was split into two, just like its pair sword was. Knowing Eve resting inside of her still possessed the key's power, Iblis set off to gain possession of the world lands before Arun could reach it. Arun chased after her, determined to stop her. However, in his path stood the nightmare beasts, born from the power contained in the cores that Iblis stole from the Mech Knights. Arun, having just received this new powers, had to contend with the formidable strength of the 6 nightmare beasts. Now Ningirsu, who rushed to Arun's side along with Induk, said to him, "We'll hold them back. You go ahead." His voice was quiet but resolute. Having lost the power of the World Chalice, Ningirsu knew he were powerless to stop Iblis, even if he could reach her. Without waiting for Arun's reply, Ningirsu leapt out, facing the beast, spirit in hand. Though nearly powerless, Ningirsu still defiantly handled his spear as if possessed. As the Nightmare Mermaid was crushed, the beasts all turned their heads towards the spear wielder in unison. He must have wanted to pursue his little sister more than anybody else. Arun took off to pursue Iblis and the World Lance, with the determination of Ningirsu as the wind in his sails. Left alone, Ningirsu continued to fight by himself, his roars echoing throughout the battlefield. He's quite a brave guy, this Ningirsu. Looks like we're about to see a final stand. Arun rushed to the base of the World Lance, but it was too late. By the time he arrived, Iblis had already finished activating the World Lance. With the newfound power of the World Lance, Iblis launched an aggressive assault on Arun. With such devastating, destructive force that each blow shook the earth, Arun faced the attacks alone. In the face of these attacks, Arun now lay wounded on the ground. Iblis moved to pick up Arun's discarded sword, now swinging it over and over, as if to check its weight. Then Iblis moved closer to inflict the final blow on Arun. Arun couldn't move his upper body, let alone stand up. Just as Iblis raised the sword to strike, a small shadow emerged from Arun's cloak. The young dragon Induk summoned his otherworldly power between the young boy and girl, determined to help his companions in their time of crisis with whatever he could muster. That power suppressed the evil dwelling in Eve, if only for a moment. By suppressing these evil spirits, the spirit of Eve that had resided deep in the depths had now awakened. Arun laid on the ground powerless. Induk was exhausted his powers and was unable to move. And Eve was now holding a sword in her hand, realizing the situation. She made her decision. Only she could put an end to Lee's evil desires. Her hand that held the sword was now tense with strength. Lee realized Eve's intention and tried to resist, but Eve's awakened spirit overcame her. She sees a flashback of her childhood friend desperately calling in her direction. The young girl drew short, rapid breaths, points the blade towards herself, and then when Ningirsu arrived at the scene, he saw his childhood friend holding the limp body of his sister in his arms, repeatedly calling her name. At the cruel end of this surreal scene, the older brother could do nothing but stand there, stunned and speechless. Well, I hate to leave it off to be continued like this, but with that, and with the secrets of the planet and where the world legacy lies in the hands of next week, that is going to be the end of another episode. But as always, if you enjoyed this video and the series to come, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content coming soon. Hopefully this story will have a happy ending, who knows, but only one way to find out, and that is with next week as we continue on this story between three friends and their dragons. So, from everyone here at SHOUTOUT Super 5, as well as overall for the Mass Legion, and everyone on the SHOUTOUT Patrol made by Family Manny Posse, thank you all so much for joining me for another adventure. I'll see you all next time when we continue on the story of the World Legacy with Part 2. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed today's episode. I'll see you all next time for more fun. Have a safe week and have fun for the days ahead, everybody. Love you all, everybody. Stay safe.